Hey Hada, what's happening in Melee? Oh my gosh, people are entering tournaments, online weeklies that are not named mech. What? We got IBDW, we got Moky, we got lloD, we have Plup. Oh my gosh, we have Plup for a TMT tournament. This is really really cool. That's been new stuff that's happening in Melee. So Hada, fill me in here. What's been happening ever since Moky said Melee is probably, but also yes, not, but yes, probably dying?
I think it definitely drew a lot of interesting conversation, and a lot of people proposed a lot of different takes. And of course, we saw a ton of different videos, YouTube content come up as a result of the same question, whether that be None, Mango, Axe, HBox, a ton of, and I think Cody even weighed in a little bit. But the point is that I think everyone was trying to make is don't be afraid to stake your ranking, stake your claim by entering an online tournament. You know, at the end of the day, it's important to stay competitively active, and I think this was driven especially by IBW, and that's driven a lot of really cool storylines as a result. You know, Cody coming out and I believe playing in TMT, and then Salt having one of the biggest runs of his career, actually taking a game off of Cody in winter side, but then Cody coming back and winning it through the run back, and as a result, Hungrybox is getting a lot of really cool stream content out of it by going to a lot of these other channels, watching the tournament from their perspective as like a co-streaming sort of thing, very akin to a lot of the upper echelon of League of Legends content creators who co-stream things like the LCS. And again, it gives a really cool idea where HBox can share his viewership. So if he brings 1,200, 1,400, 1,500 people into someone like Mech Stream who peaks at 70, maybe 50 to 70, it's so cool that you can get these
Breakfast.
staggered.
Sorry.
Yeah, breakfast is here.
Sorry.
Ellen's here as well. Love breakfast. I'm sure she'll make an appearance again in a little bit. She's definitely some cool things to tell about the tournament that I just finished commentating as well, but akin to breakfast as well. But finishing up my point, I think it's really important and really cool to see all these staggered viewers going to a lot of different places. And I think Salt's viewership has grown exponentially as a result of HBox watching Salt be Cody. So Salt's stream starting to pop off, getting I think 60, 70, 80 concurrent viewers. He had during the Salt mine today about 120, 130. So super cool to see more people watching smaller up and coming players, because it really gives people an incentive to not only stream their tournament runs but also enter a lot of tournaments and give back to the community in the way of sick up and coming player content, so we can draw more of those storylines.
And you know what's really cool as well is that you get to hear about people who are like Acid, who beat Plup in TMT West Coast, and everybody's going, "Who's Acid?" Who apparently changed
I know, Acid.
changed changed tags. I don't know anything about this person, but shout outs to you. You know, taking a set off of Plup, even if he's switching the scene mid match. That's what I heard. Is is funny to me, but hey, you still have to be the one to do it, and you did it, and hooray! Plup got the run back, but that's okay. You took a side off of Plup. You get to have that. You get to kind of cause rumblings throughout the interwebs where people say, "Oh, somebody beat so so." And honestly, what does Plup have to be ashamed of there? What does IBDW have to be ashamed of for somebody like Salt beating him, or insert upset name? Basically, what happens is that we all start to buzz and talk, and then eventually, if you continue to enter these things, you get the run back that you want. Now, of course, I just named two instances where IBDW got the run back right away in losers, and so did Plup, and they got to say, okay, well, SmackDown, see, I'm the better player for now, or however
Right.
you want to phrase it. But you still get to have those really cool moments in the tournament, and it gives a reason for people to tune in. And I love hearing also about Slug. A lot of people know who Slug is, but then seeing Slug go on a nice tear to get to to
Second,
grand
right?
finals, grand finals versus IBDW for TNT East Coast this week. How cool is that? And now everybody's saying, I guess handoffs are the same as wobbling, which is so not true. And
Yeah.
it's just fun. It's really, really fun to see this from the past week and a half.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back and watch some of those Slug VODs. I was busy that evening as I actually went to go play volleyball, but um more importantly is to see how a lot of more respect is getting put onto ice climbers, because everyone knows Slug is amazing, but what makes Slug amazing is not just his ability to get those touch of death combos. I mean, you don't beat Hungrybox in Puff Icies without repeatedly winning neutral over and over again, whether that be with movement baits, whether that be with icicle block manipulations, a 3-0 victory over Hungrybox in Puff Icies. That
That's
matchup is
insane.
brutal. That matchup is awful. But yeah, I mean, again, big ups to Slug, man. Slug probably pound for pound one of the most talented and mechanically gifted melee players that's doing it right now. God, my cat knows she's on the podcast. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Um,
You know, I've been using timestamps for my podcast episodes recently where it's no cat, cat, no cat. So this will be
yeah,
fun to edit.
so actually, when I was commentating Salt Mine this evening, I was commentating with Shmeez, and Hungrybox was doing his co-stream thing. And so on one occasion, I caught him switching to the main stream. I'm like, "Hey, Juan, how's it going?" And so caught him on that one. And then later, breakfast was chilling on the desk, so I showed everyone breakfast because chat loves breakfast. And oh my gosh, she's doing her shadow thing. So
Oh, that's awesome.
she's playing with the ball and like she doesn't know what her shadow is, so she'll like try to fight her shadow
There's a
until
lot
it comes.
happening up there. There's a
Yeah.
ball.
Anyway,
There's this
so
weird ominous thing that's copying my every
so
move.
yeah, it's weird. But anyway, so chat kept saying one Multiverse HBox, aka me, because I'm a Hispanic melee player with a beard, and I have a
Aw.
cat, and he has a cat. So everyone's like Multiverse Brisket, which apparently is his cat, and I'm
Yes.
like, no, breakfast. That's breakfast, not Multiverse Brisket. But anyway, so yeah, shout outs to HBox. I gotta laugh at him a couple times, but I wanted to like drop a dono or something, be like, hey, if you ever need a stunt double for your next Campbell's soup commercial, I got you, bro. But I digress. You know, shout outs to Juan doing big things for the community. And actually, really funnily enough, the Streamer Awards hosted by Cutie Cinderella, aka Miss Ludwig Algren. Um, all jokes aside, Blair does an amazing stream on her own, but yeah, she hosted this really cool thing for streamers. Mango ended up winning Smash Streamer of the Year, but HBox, because Mango wasn't there, I think he said something along the lines of like an anxiety thing. He's actually a pretty introverted kind of guy, so HBox ended up using his time to accept the award for Mango and also give a shout out to Nintendo for basically not doing enough. So big ups to HBox for stepping up and saying what all needed to be said. And super excited for the PG circuit. Again, kind of another shout out to that. So hope that something cool comes out of that. So big
Okay,
ups to
so
Juan for doing it.
a great use of 4 minutes and about 39 seconds of your time is a video that Mango put out today where he's talking about his perspective of the Streamer Awards.
Mhm.
And he says, I knew about the event. I was kind of flaking back and forth about whether or not I was going to go. And he says basically what it boils down to is that it's not his scene. He doesn't care about doing the Jerkle Cirque type stuff. He doesn't care if everybody there is like streamer famous and they are all handing awards to each other. He's saying I have to pretend to like these people, they have to pretend to like me. That's just not I'm not interested in that. So I think he was coming from it. He calls them those streamers, and it's funny because he's been doing it for such a long time.
Mhm.
I don't know what he would call himself. He has to call himself a streamer, but if he would say that what category he would put himself under, because he does go
Right.
live a lot and he's one of our greatest personalities in Melee and gets great crossover on Ludwig's stream and so on and so on. It's so confusing when I hear Mango say those people, and he's talking about
Yeah.
the very same industry that he's technically in. All that to say, I understand that idea that if you don't want to go to someplace, then you're not going to go. And I love that about Mango because he doesn't want to go, so he just doesn't go. And I love that Hungrybox walks up to Ludwig sometime before the event actually goes off and says, yo, I want to make a speech because Mango's not coming and Mango's going to win, but I want to make a speech instead of him. So can I do that?
That's really funny.
If you listen to the yard, you get a little bit of behind the scenes. But all that to
I
say,
haven't listened to this week's episode, so I'm gonna have to do that.
sorry, but you'll get to hear about it. It's a fun
Yeah,
story.
sounds good. But yeah, I mean, I've met Mango a handful of times. He's a super cool guy. Definitely super down to earth, like just like like he's the guy you sit on your porch with and have a beer and toss the football in the yard. Like he's not the suit and tie, like super prim and proper. Like you said, he doesn't want to play the part, you know what I mean? He's just a
Yeah.
very down home individual. He doesn't if he doesn't fuck with you, he doesn't fuck with you, and that's just how it is. Um, and I really respect that because on multiple occasions, like he's seen my commentary, he's seen one of my combo videos, and so like he knows who I am, and I've been a sub in his chat for got 40 something months or something, like 4 years or something. But
Very
so yeah,
nice.
he's literally approached me at a big house, be like, "Yo, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Mango?" So yeah, big ups to Mango, man. He's very much so what you see is what you get. So definitely am not shocked he didn't show up to the streamer awards, but super cool he won. And honestly, I think kind of a best case scenario, Mango ended up winning it, didn't show up, and then Hungrybox still got to give his speech. So um, no fault on anyone's part. So definitely just a super cool dynamic. It's definitely the most melee-esque dynamic for the showing coming out to something like some kind of event like that.
Shout outs to Cutie Cinderella and everybody who put that event on because the Streamer Awards ended up getting over 350,000, nearly 400,000 concurrent viewers, something like that, pretty consistently throughout the show. And then I would say from what I saw live and then just kind of like little here and there stuff, I wanted to watch the slime interviews because Ludwig would not stop tweeting about it. So I'm like, I
Apparently,
do
they're
interviews.
classic.
What am I doing wrong? How do I get to slime's level? And I watch it and I go, oh, so slime will just ask people if they beat off in the sink, and I won't ask that question. So that's how I need to find my do you beat off in the sink question.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of like I think Slime is probably one of the most brilliant content creators in the entire like Smash multiverse, where he's literally just that like ridiculous like the audacity that you would say that to another human being. So perfect example, one of the slam on the scenes from a big house where you can see me in the background on one of the shots. And I think it was like during the
Whoa,
Kage
well,
interview
well.
or the Tafo interview. But yeah, he asked Fendi to do like a retcon, like commentate 30 seconds of this match with me, and he spliced a footage of like a horse giving birth at like the clip, like the crux of the clip. So he's literally standing there on camera making Fendi watch a horse give birth. And he asks him to commentate it. So it's like the ridiculousness of this human being who is an ex Colorado resident, by the way, was a huge member of the Colorado Melee community for a very long time. So big ups to my man Slime. But like, it takes a special kind of person to be able to not only do a bit like that, but also be able to execute it at that level. Because like, you can't laugh at it while the other person's laughing at it. You have to be deadpan, serious. Like, yo, do you beat off in the sink? And it's like, I can't even say it with a straight face. It's like, that's insane. So very much so, like stand-up comedian level delivery on just ridiculous humor. So big ups to Slime, man. I do want to go back and see some of those interviews. It's got to be classic.
So going back to tonight's storyline from the salt mine, you and Shmeez commentating a Moky and lloD grand finals where lloD edges out Moky, I believe, in winners finals to be on winner side grands. Is that how that went? And then Moky comes out of
Yeah.
losers to fight against lloD, and it's 3-1, fairly convincing. Moky is in his chat, talking to his chat afterwards, saying, "Oh, the ping was so high, and this is probably my least favorite matchup, and it's fine. Hey, look, Moky, a lot of
It
people don't like
happens.
playing against Peach. A lot of spaces don't like playing against Peach. And you, as the Peach resident here
For
on
sure.
all commentating places, and here with what's happening in Melee with Hada, you are the Peach main. So I'm sure those spacey tears are delicious. But
They're pretty good.
what I loved hearing was Shmeez rooting very hard for Moki and you fighting back your Peach spirit and not telling Shmeez to shut up.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic. Shmi's a huge Moki fan. Again, Moki has had an excellent community behind him, so mad love to the Mokerdokers. But yeah, it was a super sick top eight. Panda actually 3-1ing Moki in a probably the most ridiculous fashion in Winners side. Panda actually meeting lloD in Winners finals, lloD swiftly smacking up on Panda, and
mm.
then Moki getting the run back in an equally dominant fashion. And all the meanwhile, right before that, 3-0ing Mech harder than I've seen anyone 3-0 that fool in a hot minute. Moki was on a tear and then ran into lloD, and then the 3-1 happened, but it wasn't like he was super, super dominant. The game one was decided by lloD coming back, recovering on stage. Moki was holding ledge just a smidgen too long and very akin to just just literally floated up and nared him right as his invulnerability run out. So he got stage spike and killed. And so that was like literally last stock, last hit. and then a couple, like two more last stock games. Then I think lloD 2 stocked him once, and that was about it. So I mean, lloD, yeah, he won three out of the 5 games. Moky took one, but it was super winnable for the side of Moky. But I think lloD in those last stock, last hit situations, just so calm, cool, collected, analytical, finding the chinks in Moky's armor and getting those hyper float arrows out of shield, getting those drops in invulnerability, and he ended up claiming the salt mine for it. So super cool. Big ups to lloD. I do believe I haven't seen anything official posted by him. I should probably just DM him and ask him, but I know he's wrapping up his medical school career. I think he
Oh.
might have gotten into the residency program that he's looking for. So I know he tweeted something like, today I am not going to make a statement. He said, I'm not going to tell anyone why, but today was one of the best days of my life. And I'm like, oh shit, medical school stuff or residency
Yeah,
stuff
that
or doctor
probably
stuff?
doesn't have to do with Melee.
Yeah. I figured it was probably medical school or residency stuff, but I'm hoping he like got his like choice one residency program. Like he's making big moves. And of course, he's still making big moves in Melee. So always gonna throw some support by the way of Arjun. That dude's sick.
Okay, so I think that Moky probably conspired with a few people behind the scene. This is my official conspiracy theory for the week, where he says to people, we're about to have live events. I mean, the town is coming up here. That's the homemade waffles tournament out in
Mhm.
Cali, and Eddie Mexico's going to that. Kadoran's going to that. Lucky's going to that. Everybody from NorCal except for SFAT somehow is going to that. So this is really cool. I should make a video about complaining about how Melee's dying, get everybody to start entering events and start warming up for the big events that are coming up here at the
Right.
end of March and April and moving on forward into the rest of the summer, spring and summer. And so Kadoran wins the town. I think there's another title for there that also involves the word town, but you get it. And then Smash Camp is coming up this weekend.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of good players there. It's going to be really fun to follow along from home since I'm not going to camp. You're not going to camp, are you?
I get kidding. I have some work stuff to take care of, and I just didn't have the vacation time yet. So I've always wanted to go to a Smash camp. I keep telling myself I'm gonna go,
Next time,
but
next time, next time.
inevitably I will. Yeah,
Live the
one
dream,
day.
live the dream. Yes, your job is still new enough that vacation time has not accrued super hard yet.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Hopefully one day, ideally next year. But I think the first tournament I'm really ideally looking to go to would probably be Double Down in Vegas, just because I could get housing covered by Dan. Dan's the man. That's my homie. Hoping I can go out to that one, but we'll have to see. I'm also going to a wedding in May, so trying to figure out and balance balance the work life
Oh,
goals, and
yeah.
of course do
That's me too.
podcasts and streaming and stay active and all that good stuff.
Jen says to me, "So Jesse, you've been talking a lot about going to a bunch of stuff. So what about me?" You know what she said to me? It was her birthday on the
Mhm.
14th, on March 14th. So shout outs to my lovely wife, Jen. Happy birthday. She says to me when I get back home from work that day, "Are you podcasting tonight?" And I was like, "No, of course not. It's your birthday." She's like, "Well, I didn't know." I was like, "Oh gosh, oh gosh." But yes, I have to find the balance and not overspend all that other fun stuff. So I get it, Hada.
Yeah, definitely. The work life balance is important, guys. And of course, drink water, work out, get outside every once in a while. I know the outside world is scary, but everything in moderation. All good things must come to an end. Other Hallmark cards, quotes, all that good stuff. But this week in Melee has been really cool, and I think it's definitely a springboard of weeks that can really show a lot of good things are to come. Moky and of course everyone getting a lot of their little content piece out of is Melee dying, and then suddenly all these top players are entering and everyone's getting their upsets and everyone's developing storylines and HBox is tossing viewers around, and it's just a really cool week to be a Melee fan.
And so this all leads into Smash Camp this upcoming weekend, so be sure to check that out for everyone watching. I don't have the link, but let's go ahead and assume that if you ask around, somebody will throw it your way. I am I too bold in saying it's going to be BTS because the cheat is and Nick
Yeah.
Yingling, this right? I mean, I'm only
I think
just
Slime's going as well, I think.
very, very cool. Very, very
Mhm.
cool. But shout outs to everybody for Smash Camp. It's going to be a super awesome experience, even just to watch from home. And the other previous Smash Camps that I sort of loosely followed as I was slowly falling down the funnel into all of this seemed like a great time. So I hope you all have fun. And then would lead us into the end of March, April, when a lot of big events are coming up, and that's when we all start to really start buzzing around. And you and I will be thankful that we started doing this because, well, of course, it'll be continually hard to
Mhm.
keep at it, but I've been really having a lot of fun talking with you and having a once a week connecting time to say what's been happening, how do we feel about it, how do I feel like this is all going very, very well so far. I hope you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's definitely been a cool little project. I look forward to it every week, and I like being able to have that little bit of prep time, whether I'm coming home from work, whether I'm coming home from the gym, or they're like, "Hey, we're doing podcast tonight. What do we want to talk about?" And then I can get my monitors going, start pulling up Twitter threads, and start pulling up Smash GG links and top 8 bracket whatever, and seeing who's dissing who. And Bobby Big Balls goes on a date with an e-girl, and God, that stream was insane, by the way. Oh my god, that guys, if you haven't seen the VOD of Bobby Big Balls goes on an e-date, my god, that was a treat.
Let
But
that be a once a month thing, please. I haven't been able to check it out myself. I'll have to check it out.
God, it's insane.
And
It's
shout outs to
it's
JoJo.
everything you'd ever want to and more, man. It's nuts.
Shout outs to JoJo from NYC winning the Nightclub, by the way. 9 sets in a row out of losers. What a performance. That was awesome
Yeah.
to catch up a little bit on that. So that's all for me. And so for you, we got at Hey Hada on Twitter, and they can also find you on Twitch, which there's an underscore in your Twitch handle, or isn't
No,
there?
it's just Hey Hada.
It is Hey Hada. Look at you.
Yeah,
You're doing better than
we're
me. I
doing
have
it.
to throw an extra 3. I don't stream anyway, but all that to say, at cyfer003, or you could look up at BSM Pod for updates about the podcast and who's been on most recently. Other than that, hope you all enjoy the rest of your day / evening / morning. And for you, Hada, hope you enjoy the rest of your night after doing commentary for like 5-ish hours and then hopping
Something
on
like
this.
that.
Big shout outs. Let's go, Hada.
Yeah, I'm stretching out the proverbial vocal cords. So definitely a good time. And I think the coolest thing with JoJo is I think he's tweeted something along the lines of like, it's a good time when parents are asking if their kids can take pictures with a champ, and he literally has a picture of him
Yes.
with 2 random like high school kid smashers. And I'm like, that's adorable. So big ups to
So
JoJo, big
funny.
ups to all that sort of stuff. And yeah, follow me on my Hey Hada stuff. Please continue to support the pod, and we will see you guys next week.